Welcome to a gorgeous soul dive with myself, Lysa Black, and my dear friend, Karina Ladea, who is an intuitive channel and healer and business mentor. I'm a heart healer, and I'm just stepping into really supporting healers and intuitives to allow themselves to be seen and heard more on social media and in their businesses to attract more of their ideal, delicious clients. We're really excited to talk about authentic marketing and energy practices that will really allow you to be more seen and heard so that your business can get a greater reach and a bigger impact. You know, Karina and I are just so aware that this is the time when really sensitive, gentle, gifted hearts are actually really needed in the world. Aren't we, Karina? Like, this is the time, hey?
Yes, and always so happy to support the healers and intuitives who feel that pull, right? That soul's calling to be out in the world and to help others and to share their gifts. So it's really a time for stepping up. And I find that when we don't, it becomes really, really hard. It's like it's harder to resist than to actually do it.
Yeah, I think that's a good perspective because I need to remember that sometimes because I think our natural inclination when we feel so deeply is to kind of do the turtle where you kind of just draw within, and we feel like it's a lot easier to actually just lay low and be quiet. But I think what I've always noticed for myself is that whatever I'm good at doing, I'm always invited to develop the opposite. And for me this year, I've really been invited to allow myself to be more seen and more heard. You know, my life's purpose is all around really wanting to teach people how to heal their own hearts. I call myself a heart healer, and for me, emotional wounding wreaks havoc on our relationships, our ability to parent, our ability to show up with our lovers and our partners. And for me, having harmony actually comes from helping people to remember the truth of who they are so that they can be seen, and it's so easy to love another soul. Ego behavior is not very easy for anyone to love. So I really am passionate about, you know, families having more harmony by everyone being supported just to be who they are within that. So I think it's really nice if you are highly sensitive and you are intuitive. Karina and I want to spend a few minutes here really talking about some beautiful, authentic marketing strategies and some beautiful energetic strategies to support you, darling.
Yes, so important, right? Because I find that for people like us, the traditional marketing is not going to work. It's going to feel weird. It's going to feel off. And then how do you share your gifts with the world? And how do you create offers that feel good? And how do you really step up in a way that feels right and that feels joyful? For me, it's really important to create not just a successful business, but to have a life on the inside of that that feels really great, you know, where we're not sacrificing any part of what's important to us in order to have a successful business. So we're not working maybe 16-hour days every day and letting go of everything else in order to be successful, because then it's not balanced enough. And I find that the more I invite other things like having fun, going on adventures, enjoying my family, doing things that feed me, the more present I can be in my business, and the more my business grows actually too, because I have more space and more energy for my clients and for other people who want to come into my soul tribe.
And I can hear you really saying that the more you actually show up for yourself, the more you actually have to give for others. And I just know, you know, everybody who's really highly sensitive recognizes that message, that it's not our natural inclination to show up to ourselves first. But our natural inclination, especially if we're in business, is to serve and to give service and to think about how we can show up for other people. But truly the greatest service is showing up for ourselves so that we have more to be able to share with other people. I love how you do that. Like, I love seeing you on your recent holiday to Australia and really seeing you delight your own soul by giving that to yourself. And I think we're in such a privileged position when we do have our own businesses to actually use them as a vehicle to really express our soul and share our soul gifts. So I really love that actually sharing that part of your personal life is actually really good for your business, Karina.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, it's so interesting because I noticed that the first times I went on adventures, and I thought, okay, can I really give myself this time off? And is it okay? Because we're so conditioned to work hard that even when we have our own businesses, it's like we become the strict demanding bosses, even more demanding than most bosses, actually.
Yes.
I mean, I'm definitely
bosses to ourselves.
Yeah, we are. We can be so unkind, right, to ourselves. And so the first time I went on an adventure, I noticed that so many people were sharing that journey with me through social media, and especially because I love going to like sacred places and connecting with the energy. And so it feeds me on like so many levels, and it feels amazing. And at the same time, I feel how it's connecting me deeper to my tribe and my soul clients. And it's really wonderful because I felt a bit selfish for going away. But then there are all these people saying, hey, you have to share more about your journey because it feels like we're with you on it.
Yeah.
And then it felt like a gift, like I'm giving this to me and it's pouring out to my clients, which is exactly what self-care and self-love is about, isn't it? Like we give it to ourselves.
Yes.
Big step, and feels really uncomfortable because we're not used to it.
Yeah.
And then we notice that not only do we feel amazing, but this is how we really show up instead of being like the martyrs, right? No, nothing for me. I'll just serve you until we're empty and overwhelmed and have nothing left, right?
Yeah, so true. And, you know, thinking about this new calling I've really felt to teach more authentic marketing strategies to other healers and intuitives, what I realized is that allowing ourselves to be more seen publicly, because we fully love letting our clients see us, and you know, we'll go to a show and when we're with our people, we feel really comfortable and joyful really sharing ourselves. And what I've really realized is that there will be some people when I show up on social media who just won't like me. And that's actually really valuable, because the more you can be so crystal clear about who you are, then you're going to repel to attract, is a concept that I talk about, where we're actually repelling people who aren't right for our message while simultaneously attracting people who are really right for our message. And I think the tricky thing is that when we feel so deeply, we don't like to be so seen because we do fear that rejection and criticism. But if we don't open up to allowing that natural process to happen, we also miss out on attracting our soul tribe. That the clearer I show up, you know, I was doing some gift spotting on my business page a few weeks ago, and I had, you know, the most engagement that I've ever had. And I do that in my personal work, but I hadn't ever publicly showed up. And I think that's a really beautiful message for anyone in their soul work, that there shouldn't really be a difference between the actual work that you're doing with your clients and the messaging that you're actually using in your business. That if you can make that as aligned as possible, it makes it crystal clear for people who actually have never met you and don't know you and haven't hugged you, to be able to actually perceive what is it that this person's doing and how might it be able to benefit me. So I think that the ability to hold ourselves in so much love as we allow ourselves to be seen gives us the power to recognize some will be repelled by our message, and some people that exact message is the one that will draw them in, and they'll adore us for that.
And you're so good at showing up as you are. It's so inspiring for me because I'm quite secretive. So, well, you know this, Lysa. Like, I'm like, oh, I have to share that. And you're always like, you need to share that, Karina. And I know I do, right? Because it's really important for people to see that we're humans and we struggle with things. Because we don't want to, I know that I don't want to be that person who seems to have it all together, right? Because we don't. It's just about, you know, sharing about our struggles and how we move through them and how we move through the challenges instead of, you know, maybe because it's sometimes we don't do it on purpose, but maybe we don't want to be burdened. And I find that what you said about visibility, that's usually a huge thing for intuitives and sensitive people, because often we're not used to sharing our gifts publicly or talking about them.
Yes.
And we're not always people who are comfortable being public, right? Because there are a lot of introverts, a lot of really sensitive souls, and that's a huge challenge on top of all the old patterns and the traditions of, you know, getting into trouble for sharing the fact that you're intuitive. And I think pretty much every client I've ever worked with has that somewhere, and it comes up for me regularly as well with like past life stuff, or, you know, where it's been dangerous to be visible. So that's usually a huge thing to move through. And I know for me what's helped the most was to keep reconnecting in with my message and what I'm here to share, because then I can take a step away from me and, you know, my own personality and remember that I'm here because there's something that wants to come through me, and it's for all the people who need that. And if I get out of my own way, then I could share that. And that really shifted, I think, my perspective on it as well. And then it's like practice. I mean, so much of the stuff that we do now and that feels pretty easy was such a big step when we started out, right? I remember just sharing things on Facebook or sharing like intimate stuff or personal stories. It was just huge. You think the world's going to end, and then you realize that actually not everyone sees it, not everyone thinks it's a big deal. And then you get over yourself and you take another step. So it's also playing and exploring with that, right? Because it's just Facebook, or it's just social media, or it's just your blog. It's not like you're going to die because of it, right?
Well, that's right. That's the blessing of today, and when I first started in business, the way that I actually attracted new clients was by doing speaking engagements, and I would do webinars and workshops and teach people things that I had mastered and that I'd been intuitively taught how to heal and shift in my own life, because I really wanted other people to be able to find out how they could do that for themselves as well. But it was only by actually showing up, being who I really am in front of people, that gave people the sufficient information they needed to know they could trust me. And I think I used to invest quite a lot of money in advertising in newspapers so that I could get in front of the right people so that they could come to an event and be able to hear it and see it. And I think we don't realize the huge advantage that there is today on social media to literally stand in front of thousands of people very, very easily. And I love how you're talking about the inhibitions, and I think it's so beautiful to be able to step outside of who we are and share our soul message. So for anyone who is a healer or an intuitive, it's really nice to be able to not think about the message that you think your tribe needs to hear, but share the message that you need to hear. And one of the biggest messages that I need to hear is to trust. It's just such a huge life lesson for me. And we get so afraid and we get scared, and I go, I'm just going to do this one thing. And then I'm just going to sit back and rest. And so every time that I trust and allow myself to be seen, people actually come back and compliment it and affirm me and celebrate me and appreciate it, because they recognize it's a risk. But what I'm actually doing by showing up in my messaging is giving other people permission to show up and reveal who they are too. That as healers and intuitives, we're inviting people to share very intimate information about who they are with us. So we need to lead by example and actually be vulnerable in our posts and share what's really going on, because that leadership principle of sharing what we need to hear and allowing ourselves to be seen actually invites our tribe and our ideal clients to take another step forward towards us and reveal themselves. So there's just so much happening as we allow ourselves to really tune into our own energy, listen to our own message, allow it to be shared, and show up on purpose. That when we market when we don't need clients, that is the best thing to do, just to be consistently marketing. When we only market when we have spaces opening, it can actually move into this boom and bust sort of mentality. Whereas if we're consistently sharing from a place of love and devotion to ourselves and our tribe, that's actually the consistency that people are looking for when they want to hire a professional. They want to see someone who's showing up on multiple platforms, sharing from their heart, really genuinely sincere information that can help other people. And I love that you're doing that too, Karina. I love that we're both doing this, and that's part of the joy in having our own businesses. We get to teach the world for free, and that's what I think soul sharing or authentic marketing actually is. It's teaching the world for free, trusting and knowing that that's the same sacred trail through which ideal clients will be able to seek us out and find us.
Yes, exactly. And when you market in a place that's in a way that feels authentic, and you listen to your own rhythm, and you really honor who you are, your energy levels, what you enjoy, then I find that marketing and showing up becomes play. It becomes something joyful. It becomes like a prayer. I feel like I'm just so privileged to get to show up and just beam people love all day. And that's because I fill myself up. So I never, I don't anymore, right? I don't get so empty, right? I don't give because I want something from others, and I don't give when I don't have anything to give. And I actually fill myself up all the time. It's like the energy moving in, and then we fill ourselves up and it radiates out. And then we get into this beautiful flow. And that's just amazing. That does not feel like work.
No, it doesn't. And I think that's what I like about what we've given ourselves permission to do to really honor the truth of who we are in our marketing, because it's not marketing, it's soul sharing and it's loving, and that alone is making a difference. And I think that concept is so supportive for healers and intuitives to really know that sharing the truth of who they are is actually the vehicle for attracting the people who are ready and willing and waiting to invest in your services. That I think we allow our own fears and doubts to be louder than the evidence coming back from our tribes and back from our clients. And it's so lovely to give ourselves permission to actually really hear the praise, because when we're givers, we're naturally not so well inclined to receive. And so I'm really training myself this year to just, when people compliment me, just say, thank you so much. Like, I see the same thing in you. Like, we're in this together. And that's so generous and kind for you to affirm me in that way. And I think when we can graciously receive compliments, we actually allow people the joy of giving to us, because it's not our sole prerogative to be the only givers. I think when we get into that energetic space of being the only ones that are giving, it is depleting. And we've both had experiences in the past where we have been depleted by that. So I'm so grateful that, you know, you do have amazing strategies and amazing techniques, because you are so highly sensitive to really help other business owners and intuitives learn how to really be with their own energy and protect it and support it and align with their truth, so that they can really show up, whether they're in business or this is just in our lives, that these skills are the exact same skills, aren't they, to really thrive and really enjoy beautiful, magical lives that we're meant to have in this world.
Yes, thank you. I was actually quite surprised, but I think this was the same thing for me, how many healers and intuitives show up so well for their clients, but don't actually take care of themselves.
Yes.
And you can only reach a certain point when you do that. And I find that as long as we're just holding space for our family and close friends, we're okay. Like, it's still costing us, but we can be okay with that if we have a lot of energy. But as soon as we want to start serving clients, reach our impact, maybe like, you know, write books, speak on stages, we have to have like impeccable energy, right? It doesn't mean doing it perfectly. It just means you have to really show up and you have to really take good care of yourself, where it's going to be draining and it's going to cost you, and it's just not going to be fun. And we don't have to do that, right? We don't have to sacrifice a part of our own well-being to show up. And that's something I see when I see other people. I was watching Janelle Laporte when I was in Sydney, and I thought, so how does someone show up when they speak in front of like hundreds of thousands of people regularly? Well, you have to really manage your energy, just like you manage, you know, what you eat, movement, resting, all those things, right? It's like clearing. Like I used to do a little bit of energy clearing, but now it's just a non-negotiable. Like, I clear my energy and I ground myself and I give myself like mini healings at least once a day, often more, before and after sessions. Like, I'm super, super careful with that now. And it's interesting because everything is so much clearer. I don't have to go into that like mucky, confused space and then come out again, because everything just seems much clearer. And I find with the energies as well, intensifying, and with all the stuff swirling around, I think we're really going to be called to step up our game when it comes to managing our own energy, because there's stuff we can't control outside of ourselves, but we really have. And I feel a strong responsibility to myself and to my clients and to everyone I'm in touch with. Or like when you're traveling, like you're at an airport or in a big crowd, especially for sensitive, intuitive people, because we can pick up on so much. And the more we do this work, the more sensitive we become.
Yes.
Right? And so we have to be even more careful. Don't really like that word, but like we have to be really, mindful. I guess, even more loving towards ourselves. Yeah, mindful. It's better.
Beautiful. And just to reiterate your point before, that I think it's really difficult to learn to be generous with ourselves when we've always been givers. And what really allowed me to make the shift was that energetically people can actually perceive how I perceive myself. So I tell myself that what I give myself, I give to the whole world. So anybody who hears me or is near me or sees me or feels me can actually feel how much I allow myself to get the rest that I need, and I show up in love and care to my physical body and my emotional body, my mental and my spiritual selves, so that I can just sit in my own truth really comfortably. And I think when we can think about that, when we can think about, I'll give this to me, and then everyone else can know that they can give it to themselves as well, I think is a really good excuse and a really great clause, because we want it for everybody else. But if we don't show up and give it to ourselves, we're not actually teaching anyone else that they're actually permitted to do it for themselves as well. So we're doing a lot of service in the world by actually being willing to show up and be devoted to serving and loving and caring ourselves. So I hope that this has been really valuable. If you've stayed here and watched this little soul dive with Karina and I, we're really deeply grateful, and we hope that there's been something you've been able to take away. If you've got a question or a comment from anything that you've shared, something that really reached you, would actually really love to hear about that from you. Go ahead and comment below and tell us what was the biggest takeaway from what we were both sharing. I really love surrounding myself with other people who are like me, that give me permission to be seen and to be who I am and to share who I am. And Karina does that for me. Both of us have glorious, sparkling new courses. Mine is on authentic marketing. I call it soul sharing. And Karina has an amazing energetic clearing course, foundational energy work called Clear Your Path and Shine. There's details below. We would really appreciate if you can like our pages, like this post, and share it with anyone that will really benefit. We're so grateful to be here and share this with you, and I really want to thank you for listening, and we're just sending you out big hugs and hope that you can feel the trust and the love that Karina and I share in our friendship together, and we hope that we've invited you into that circle today. So our love and blessings are with you. Thank you for being here for our soul dive.
Thank you so much to everyone for watching this, and know that you're enough, and that you know exactly what you need, and surround yourself with the right people, the right support, and do what you need as a commitment to yourself, so that you can feel great and also serve the souls who are here to really connect with you and receive your beautiful gifts. So thank you so much, and thank you, Lysa. This was fun.
Oh, it was so fun. Bye, everyone.